Hey Fools, I'm Joel South. Today I'm here with Travis Hoyam, Motley Fool contributor. We're looking at Chinese solar companies. It looks like they're starting to rebound. Pretty good year overall in 2013. Some of them are still in trouble. What do you look at for the future of Chinese solar companies?
Well, Chinese solar companies have really started to improve their financial standing. And that's really what really brought them down when the market went through a lot of trouble in 2011 and 2012. And so you've seen margins start to improve this year. Some companies are reaching double-digit gross margins, which is sort of an important step for those companies. But overall, the big driver is going to be growing demand for the industry. So the industry is expected to grow about 20% this year to about 37 gigawatts. So that's a pretty good growth rate globally. Maybe even more important for Chinese companies is that China itself is going to be a big demand source. So they're looking at installing about 35 gigawatts by 2015, so 10 gigawatts a year. That's a lot of demand, even considering the oversupply that the market has right now.
Yeah, that's definitely a great tailwind for them. However, there's a lot of winners and losers, obviously, and there's a lot that had that trouble. So if you're an investor, where would you be looking for some companies that might outperform?
Well, I think the biggest thing to look at right now with Chinese companies is the balance sheet. Because that's what's going to doom a lot of these companies is just having too much debt to pay back. So a couple of companies that I would look at that have decent balance sheets is Canadian Solar and Jinko Solar. So Canadian Solar actually has a fair amount of debt, but they're also building projects with that. So that can kind of add on to debt, and those are actually high margin projects. So that's one of the reasons that they have one of the highest gross margins in the Chinese industry. Jinko Solar actually has a great balance sheet, and they have another $1 billion in debt that they can use from Chinese banks to build projects in China. So that's a really positive for them going forward. So those are the two that I think kind of sit in a solid position right now.
Interesting. If you're, as an investor, what companies would you not come near or never touch?
Well, this is maybe even more important right now because there's kind of a lot of minefields out there in the solar industry. So a couple of companies to not even look at right now: Suntech Power and LDK. So both of these companies have defaulted on debt. We have no idea if they're going to go into what would be bankruptcy in the U.S. China kind of writes its own rules, and since Suntech was actually the first company to default on Chinese company to default on U.S. debt, we're kind of in uncharted territory here. So companies not paying their bills is not a good sign. So I definitely wouldn't look at either of those companies. Yingli Green Energy is actually a company that is starting to see financial improvement, but I think they just have too much debt. They're approaching $3 billion in debt, so that's a lot for a company to overcome, and I projected that they're going to need probably gross margins in excess of 20% just to be able to break even, and that's asking a lot for the company in the solar industry right now.
Yeah, definitely. When it gets to that point, it's not worth the risk in most of the cases. So thanks a lot for your insight, and be sure to tune back in Fool.com.